This is our job, and we have to do it. Your past self did not always do their best. And you know what the best thing about working from home and being my own boss is? I have to rewrite basically the whole thing because I need coffee, because I'm tired. I have 3 chapters to revise today. It's been a busy few days. I don't know if it is catching up to me. We are T-minus 90 minutes until it is officially June 1st here. And I don't know about you guys, but I have a lot of really big plans for June. Summer school starts tomorrow. I am about to start draft 3 on my main project. We're doing another daily Drabble challenge for the month of June. And I'm currently between editing clients, along with a lot of live streaming. I'm doing 4 live streams. So this seemed like the perfect time to show you my ideal work week as a full-time writer and author-tuber, and sometimes editor. And if you're new here, my name is Dana, and under the name DL Pitchford, I publish unapologetically honest stories with real characters. And this week, we're treating writing like it is our 9 to 5. It is late night, and I'm doing a late night live stream, which I have a couple of those planned this month. Not sure how well it's gonna go, because this one especially is starting a little bit late. But I really wanted to start one just in time for doing a midnight drabble on day 1. I have the live stream all set up, but I need to create all of the forum posts so that people can begin to share their drabbles. And, you know, I need to get emotionally prepared to live stream because that is not an easy feat. But most importantly, I really wanted to go over my plan for draft 3 before I dive into the revisions tomorrow. This is probably a weird angle, but I really wanted to have this in a position where you could properly see all of my plan. It's been 10 days since I finished reading the draft, so I've spent the last week and a half working on getting everything ready for the next draft. This spreadsheet is how I'm planning to track my progress, so whenever I finish going over a scene, I check it off, and then down here at the bottom, it tracks how many and what percentage I'm at. There are 100 scenes in this, so every scene is a single percentage. So each of these I have tracking which scene it is. So 1.1 is scene 1 of chapter 1, and so on. What characters are in it. These are specifically the characters that are physically there and speaking. And then I have characters who are physically there but not speaking. And then these are characters who are not physically present, but either have speaking roles through a phone call or a text message. And then I have the setting. Sometimes there are multiple things, like this one lists kitchen and her bedroom, which means during the course of that scene, they transition from the kitchen to her bedroom. Here at the very end, I'll be tracking how many words. Just like over there, it will update this at the bottom to show the total. This column, though, is probably the most important one. This has a drop down to show what type of work, how vigorous the work will be for each scene. This first scene is a brand new scene, so I have that labeled. And then most of them are only minor changes. That's what this pink is. This light blue is no changes, not meaning that the scene is totally ready, because it's not, but any changes would be minimal at this point. Like, so minimal it's not worth discussing. And then here the purple is major changes. So if we scroll down to the bottom, here I have it tracking how many there are of each type. So I will have 12 new scenes. I have 20 scenes that need major changes, 58 scenes that need minor changes, and 10 scenes that need no changes. And all of that stuff matches here on my actual draft, where I have the new scenes are labeled in similar colors. They're not exactly the same colors, but I have it all there with the label. In earlier drafts, I use acts 1, 2, 3, and so on for my labels to color code everything, but in this, I have it color coded based on how much work it will be. And I did just copy over my draft, so here's the original first scene, and this one is empty because this is going to be the brand new first scene. And over here I have my synopsis. I also have my general notes. So anything that requires any sort of changes will have notes over in the sidebar here. And as I finish each scene, I'll come back and check it off. My goal is to get through 10 chapters a week. That seems doable. That's 2 chapters per day if I'm working, 5 days, which is generally how it works out. And there are 51 chapters, 10 chapters a week. That's about 5 weeks. That is very doable, assuming nothing goes horribly awry. We'll find out. If I do get it done in 5 weeks, that will actually be less time than it took to do the previous draft, which I would definitely consider a win. A lot of the ones that have major changes will be scenes where I'm doing an entire rewrite. Obviously, the scenes with minor changes will have far less rewriting that needs to be done. And anything with the no changes will probably get a few tweaks here and there, because even those might have something that I pointed out, a typo or something. The majority of this work, the majority of what I need to get done in this draft is still developmental edits. I need to make sure I have this timeline exactly how I want it to be, add in any scenes that are missing. And even after this, I would not be surprised if there needs to be another scene or 2 added in, especially after getting some feedback from my critique partner. That could definitely change things. It usually does. I'm so excited to dive into this draft. It has been a little over a month, maybe a month and a half, since I finished the previous draft. And I genuinely don't think I can wait anymore. I'm so anxious to be working on this. I'm excited. Okay, I'm going to finish getting everything ready for the live stream and for the Drabble challenge. I hope you are joining us for that. And these prompts are good. All right, I'm going to finish getting that all set up, and I'll see you guys on the live stream in like an hour. My desk is an absolute disaster. And then getting all of this stuff cleaned up is definitely something I need to work on this week. It is driving me a little bit crazy. Okay, let's get this all set up. Restream and focus. Okay, just a quick update. It is almost 1 a.m. now. That was a very short live stream. We were only going for a little over an hour, but I wrote my Drabble for June 1st because it is officially June 1st now, and I'm actually really happy with it. This was such a good start to the beginning of the month. I'm so pleased with how that turned out. One of my main goals for this month for the Drabbles is to write as many of them as horror as possible, and I did that. I achieved that. It's great. I'm so happy. And now I have to cool down and go to bed because I have to get up in 6 hours. So we're good. This is fine. Good morning. It is 8 a.m. I've been awake for about an hour. We are going to take the kids to school and then go out to breakfast. This is kind of a little tradition that we have at the start of a new semester. I'm going to get dressed and get ready for the day now. Okay, I am back at the house. We also grabbed some coffee, because I need coffee, because I'm tired. It is just about 10 o'clock. I need to get my office a little bit cleaner. It's kind of a disaster right now. Yeah, we're gonna deal with that. That's a little better. Okay, I think this is as good as it's gonna get, and I'm going to dive into starting draft 3. Okay, so the plan is to get through 10 chapters a week. That means I just need to do 2 chapters today to stay on target. I will probably try to do more if I don't get too tired mentally from all of this, especially since I'm live streaming a bunch this week. And on the days when I live stream, I will probably not be able to get as much done on the actual revisions. In these first 2 chapters, I don't think that the scenes I have written will be a whole lot of work. The main work comes from the scene that I need to write. The new opening scene. Billy and Xander are eating together at the Erie. That's like a little fast food place on campus. The university's mascot is a falcon, so there are a few like falcon and bird themed things throughout. This is the main one though. This is a place that has shown up, I believe, in all the previous books, but maybe not. Primarily in book 1 because Xander and Jimmy were both working there freshman year, and Jimmy kept working there sophomore year, but Xander got a job off campus. So this is a location that was in at least 5 different scenes in the first book. In my current draft of this book, I have 1 scene that takes place there. So when I knew I wanted to add this scene and I really wanted to show Billy and Xander in like a domestic sort of setting, a domestic sort of interaction, and food is such a big part of these books, partially because Billy has some disordered eating, especially in the first book. She and her dad, when they like reconnect, a lot of their bonding in the first 2 books comes from making food together. So food itself became this very important part of the story, not necessarily as like a plot point, but as a general backdrop for a lot of the interactions. So my first thought was to have this scene take place at the house in the kitchen and have Billy kind of making food while Xander is hanging out and they're talking and interacting, and maybe Jimmy shows up because he's still there, still living with them. I already have 28 scenes out of 100, so 28% of the book already takes place in their house. And I have this really important scene that takes place at the Erie later, but it was the only scene there, so I decided I wanted to bring it back and give it more screen time, you know? So instead of one, I believe I should have 3 scenes that take place there, at least partially. So it's also this first scene, and then there's another scene there in chapter 15, the start of chapter 15. That's another new scene. And then the last scene that takes place there is the one already in the previous draft. So this first scene I have to write brand new. I have my list of notes to include. This is my opportunity to show Billy and Xander as a couple with normal interactions and also hint at some of the things that are to come. Okay, just a little update. I am like 900 words into this first scene and haven't gotten to the meat of the scene like at all. All of the points that I have that I need to happen in this scene, none of them have happened. They've been sitting and talking and starting to eat, and they're talking about things that are important and definitely things that are relevant. Something that I was planning to happen or that in the previous draft happened in chapter 6 is now happening here, which actually makes sense because I changed the way that happens in the book. So it makes more sense that this conversation is happening now instead of in chapter 6, and that's just one less thing I have to include in chapter 6 apparently. 900 words and we haven't gotten to what's actually supposed to happen! Things I still need to happen are Billy's not feeling that great. That's something I need to go back in what I've written and kind of sprinkle hints of that she's feeling just a little bit unwell. And I need to have her looking at her phone and then getting a phone call from her mom that Xander is going to answer because he loves talking to her mom and just generally being a flirt because her mom absolutely adores him. And then Billy also needs to text Prue. So that's 4 things that still need to happen in this, and none of them have happened. Them getting food is the only thing that was on my list that has happened. They have the food, they are slowly eating it. To be fair, it doesn't help that I have not been feeling great. It's like 1:45 now, and I've only written 900 words because I've been cramping and uncomfortable for most of the last 2 hours. It comes and goes, but most of the time it's not great, and right now is one of those times. It's not as bad as it was earlier, but still not great. But we're powering through. This is our job, and we have to do it even if we're in physical pain. I have a book I need to finish. A little bit of pain, especially when I have, endured so much worse pain in my life, is fine. We power through. I am enjoying this exchange that I'm writing right now. This is Xander. Anyway, it won't actually be that hard to find a business for the consultation project. I'm not that worried about the senior capstone. I scoff. Speak for yourself. His blue eyes meet mine, and his mouth twists into a little smirk. Yes, well, not all of us are as overly ambitious as you. I chuck a fry at his face, but he dodges. You've got your pinnacle workshop for painting, plus your senior honors project. He slowly ticks them off on his fingers. It's a good thing you don't have to do a final project for minoring in math. And don't you have enough credits to minor in graphic design too? Actually, I'm 1 credit away from majoring in it, he snorts. Of course you are. Would it be crazy to add another class next semester? To major in something you're only tangentially interested in? Yes, absolutely. Yep. I really have no room to speak because I triple majored fine arts, English, creative writing, and did the honors program. And I'm pretty sure I also minored in graphic design. So, yep, no room to speak. Anyway, back to it because I gotta finish the scene. Okay, finished the scene. It is 3 o'clock now, so that took way too long. The scene is also way too long. I did not anticipate the scene being much longer than 1,000 words, probably like around 1,200. It is 1,654 words. Like, I know it will get pared down. I will clean it up. It also, like, it does need some tweaking, but overall I'm pretty happy with this version of things. I definitely want to weave in some of the stuff that happens at the end earlier into the scene, but overall it's good. And the next 2 scenes just need like minor changes. And once I do that, I will have met my goal of 2 chapters today. This first chapter is just insanely long now. I had hoped to get in a little walk after finishing this scene, but it's 3 o'clock now. The kids will be done with school at 4. I don't know if I have time for a walk. Yeah, I think I just really want to get through these next 2 scenes, get in all the changes I know need to happen, tweak some language. Okay, now I have to let a cat in because he's not pleased that he's outside my office instead of in here with me. Okay, it is 4 o'clock. I just finished going over those 2 scenes. Since they were just minor edits, it was very quick and easy to do. I addressed all of the stuff I had in my notes, deleted them as I went. I will say, I am using Scrivener's revision mode feature for the first time ever, I'm pretty sure. If I remember correctly, revision mode is something that wasn't available on the PC version until Scrivener 3.0, and that came after I finished all of my previous books. So this is the first time that I've actually used it. I'm really enjoying it. I think when I get to doing more line level edits, it will be really cool. And I'm excited to see like the final version of this and having all the different colors. I'm excited. It's really cool. So I've gotten through my 2 chapters. It's 1 scene that I had to write completely and 2 scenes that just had minor changes. So my word count right now is 6,057. So I am 3% of the way through the scenes. Yeah, this is very exciting. I was hoping to be able to do more today, but because I had to write that scene and I wasn't feeling great during it, that didn't happen. It just didn't happen, and that's fine. But I met my minimum goal. I have my Drabble done for the day. I did my 2 chapters. Tomorrow I'm doing another live stream, so I'll be doing my Drabble on the live stream. And I'm also going to the Spring Book Buzz, which is something hosted by the library. It's a quarterly event where we get to look at upcoming books and maybe get some ARC copies. So I'm excited about that. That's tomorrow night. I'm going with my friend Sam, and we will probably be getting dinner together afterward. So you guys can come along for that. My kids just got home. It's 4:05 now, so my timing on this was great. So yeah, I'm gonna go say hi and see how the first day of summer school was. Good morning. It is Tuesday, whatever day it is. Oh, it has to be the 2nd. Yeah, 2nd of June. I am waking up. I have coffee and I'm listening to music and I'm about to get dressed for the day. I am taking the kids to school this morning. I have a live stream at 11 and then tonight I have the spring book buzz that I'm going to with my friend Sam. So let's get ready for the day. Good morning! It is 9 a.m. The kids have been dropped off at summer school, and it is time for me to get to work. I have about an hour and a half to work on my revisions before I need to dive into prepping for the live stream at 11. I don't know if that's enough time to get through these 2 chapters, but neither of them need a whole lot of work, so it is possible. I'm just gonna go ahead and dive into it and see how much I can get done. Just a quick update because it's 10:53 and I need to get everything ready for the live stream. I just finished with 3 out of 4 of the scenes that I need to do, so I'm almost done. This last scene is pretty short too, and it's one of the ones that I have marked as no changes, but I'm still going to read through it and tweak a few things, and I just don't have time to do that right now. But this does tell me I might be able to get in a 3rd chapter today. Fingers crossed. Anyway, I have to completely shift gears now and get ready for the live stream. See you there. It's about 2:15 now. I had a really good live stream, had fun chatting with people. I wrote 2 different drabbles. The first one I could not manage to cut down to exactly 100 words, so it's at like, I believe 124. And then the second one I got to exactly 100 words. And I like both of them a lot. They're very different. I did my one that's all horror, and then I did a little cozy fantasy one. And then I went for a walk, and I grabbed a snack. I've got some pretzel sticks here, and now I'm ready to dive back into draft 3. I only have one more scene that I need to get done today, but I will probably work on the next chapter too. This last scene that I have will not take very long because it's only like 750 words, and it's one that I will probably only be tweaking the tiniest bit. It is 3:45 now, and I am finishing up for the day. I did that one short scene, and then I also did the next chapter. So I have the first 5 chapters done, and I am ahead of schedule, which is probably good because tomorrow I need to tackle chapter 6, and that is probably one of the roughest chapters in the whole book. I have to rewrite basically the whole thing because the entire tone of the scene needs to be changed. So I have 9 out of 100 scenes done, 5 out of 51 chapters. My word count is 14,240. The next scene I need to work on is actually a brand new scene, so I am just going to keep having that word count go up and up, apparently. I don't need a book that's like 110, 115,000 words long, but I'm adding 12 scenes to this book and fleshing out a bunch of others. It's gonna be long. It's gonna be long. To be fair, though, I have cut out quite a bit of words from some of the scenes that are just minor changes. Not a whole lot at this point because I'm not doing like in-depth line edits, but I am doing some line work. This draft is kind of an amalgamation of dev edits and line edits, and that's how I knew it would be, but I'm doing more of the line work than I expected to feel comfortable doing yet. So that's a good thing. Like, this is great. Throughout the day, I've been working for somewhere between 5 and 6 hours. I'm not sure exactly how long my walk and snack break was, but I am very much ready to be done for the day, especially since I have the spring book buzz tonight, and that's going to be a lot of activity, a lot of people. I've only done this one other time, so it's still pretty intimidating and anxiety inducing for sure. But I got word earlier that one of my other friends is going to join us, so I'm excited to see her because I haven't seen her in a while. So I'm really looking forward to doing that tonight, and I'm gonna go work on my puzzle some more to try to relax a little bit before the event tonight. Social interactions are hard, and social interactions with a lot of people are really hard. So, I'll see you guys tonight. Good morning! It is Wednesday the 3rd. I had a lot of fun with my friends last night. I got 3 books. I could have gotten more, but most of the ones I was actually interested in were not available anymore. In fact, we were one of the last groups to go, which is the same as last time. And that means a lot of the cool arcs, a lot of the more popular arcs are gone, which is fine. That's how it works. Just at this point, fingers crossed, we're earlier next time. Each table has a number and then they draw numbers. So the 2 times that I've done this, we've been like very close to the end. We might have been the last table this time, actually. But I got some books that I am excited about. Some of them, at least one of them, doesn't come out until like September, so that's a pretty early arc to get. it. I also got a copy of Story Genius in the mail yesterday, which is nice because it's one I've been wanting to read for quite a while. I've read Wired for Story twice now, and I love it, but this one is a little more specific to novel writing, and I know it has exercises and stuff like that in it, and I've just been wanting to read it for a really long time, and I finally went, okay, I need to just get a copy. And I also got a tripod. Obviously I have a tripod, this one, but it's not particularly sturdy, so I got this one that should be a little bit better for, my few $100 camera that I'm now using instead of my phone. To be fair, my phone is basically the same price, but phones are a little sturdier than the Pocket is, so I want something that I'm not as worried about bumping into and knocking over. Because this guy, the extension is on this part, the feet can extend out, but only so much. It's just generally not as sturdy. So there's my general updates for the morning. It's between 9 and 9:30 right now, and I know I don't have a whole lot of time. Wednesday was supposed to be my day of I don't have very much to do. I didn't take the kids to school this morning. I don't have a live stream. I don't have anything that is specifically scheduled for a certain time. So theoretically, that would mean it would be a more chill day. However, my mom texted me last night, the night before last, I don't remember which, asking about potentially hanging out today because we haven't done that in a while. And you know what the best thing about working from home and being my own boss is? I can change my schedule if I want to. It's fantastic. So I'm a little bit torn because I absolutely need to get work done. I have a minimum of 1 chapter that I need to finish today to stay on target, and I have to do a Drabble. The Drabble shouldn't take very long, so I'm not super worried about getting that done, and I can fit it in whenever. The chapter I need to work on, though, is one of the roughest chapters in the book. I need to write a brand new scene, and I need to completely rewrite the scene that's already written in this chapter. So that will take some time, and I'm not sure I'll have as much time as I will need to get that done. At this point, I'm just hoping that this scene is not as difficult to write as the very first scene was, because that one took me hours on Monday. So I need to do that. I need to send the link to Cynthia for our live stream tomorrow so that she's all ready for that. I still need to catch up on all the Drabbles people have written the last 2 days. So that needs to happen at some point too. I've been too busy. I haven't had time, and that sucks. On the live stream yesterday, Mateo was like, when do you sleep? And it's like, well, sleeping's fine. It's the little things like reading everyone else's Drabbles that I'm not getting to do. At least spending time with my mom will be generally relaxing. It won't be an intensive thing. I don't think we're going to be doing any sort of sewing stuff because I don't have any sort of sewing stuff to work on. I have been so hyper-focused on this book. I haven't really thought about sewing in like a couple months now, and I hate that because it's something I really want to do, but this is what I'm passionate about, and it is what I need to be focusing on right now while I have that passion. I need to be dedicating as much of myself to this project as I can while I can, because I had years, so many years, like 7 years since I have felt genuinely passionate about this project, and now that it's here, I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose it again. And genuinely, I'm so close to finishing this book. I'm working on these chapters. The revisions that I'm doing are so good. I'm so happy with how things are turning out, and I'm pretty sure when I read this draft afterward, I am just going to be stunned by how finished it feels. Like, I'm not going to say it'll be done. It won't. It will need many, many more read-throughs and edits, but it will be a complete story. Unless something goes horribly awry, which is definitely possible. And of course, like, how complete it is does depend on feedback I get, especially from my critique partner, and just generally, I need other people to be looking at this and telling me it's okay. I'm in such a weird position because it's been years since I was working on this project, so I don't have all of the people that were reading it before. And it's really hard to be like, hey, person that I haven't talked to in 5 years probably, you read all of my books and gave me feedback. Can you do that for this last one, even though it's been 5 years since you read the books? More than 5. That's a hard thing to do. And since this is the last book in the series, getting new people means they have to read the first 3 books before they can give me feedback on this. That's tough. It's a tough position. And these are tough books to read. They deal with a lot of really heavy topics, mental health and family trauma and drama, and it's hard to read. But honestly, at this point, I've talked about them enough. If it sounds interesting, shoot me a DM and we can talk about it, because I'm gonna need feedback from more than just my critique partner, and I'm not sure where I'm going to be getting that. Anyway, it is after 9:30 now, and I need to get in some work on this before I no longer have time. So, yay! Okay, it is like 10:35. I just finished a very, very rough draft of this new scene. It is 432 words. I need to completely redo it, but this is like the bones of the scene. This is 90% of what needs to be included, and I really need to go in and flesh it out. This is not how I'm leaving it for this draft. It's way too rough for that. But this is my first time writing this character since book 1, because he was not in the previous 2 books. So it's kind of weird to get back into this character who was only ever small role, and I'm still figuring out how to handle all of the scenes that go around her honors project. This senior honors project will be a big task for her, but it's not really that present in the story at this point. Even the updates that I've made in preparation for this draft, I know I haven't added in as much about this project, about her working on this project, as I need to. But I'm adding in stuff that wasn't there before, so I'm making progress. I know I will definitely still need to do more. I'll need to add more. But my mom is going to be here soon, so I do have to stop here. Not super pleased about that, but that's how it goes sometimes. I will check in a little while. Okay, I just had a nice afternoon with my mom. We sat and chatted for a bit and worked on a puzzle, and now I am getting ready to dive back into doing some writing. I don't have very much time because my kids will be home from school soon, but we're gonna do as much as we can. Okay, it's almost 5, so this is just a quick update. I got through that scene. I rewrote most of it. It was, 430-ish words before? Now it's 725. A vast improvement. So much better. And it flows so much better too, and helps bridge the gap between the end of chapter 5 and what was the only scene in chapter 6. Now that I've added that, the next scene does not feel nearly as jarring. It still needs so much work, so much rewriting, but not as much as I expected it to. It's not as bad as I thought. It's still pretty rough, it is. and I definitely want to rewrite pretty much all of the spice. That's the part that needs rewritten most, because this was the first spicy scene I had written in quite a bit, and it shows. I got started on that scene, and I've made a few edits throughout the first, 400 words, but this is a scene that's 2,000 words long, so nowhere near done. But it's almost 5, so I need to be done right now. I'm glad I was able to get ahead yesterday, and that first scene that I wrote today, I'm very happy with. I still need to do my Drabble, but that's something I can do pretty easily on my phone. I'm not really worried about fitting that in. And the revision work I need to do tomorrow is pretty good. Both of the scenes in Chapter 7 I've marked as no changes, so I'm not anticipating a lot of work there. It will probably just be a couple tweaks here and there, some minor line edits. And then Chapter 8 I have marked as major changes, which mostly I want to expand the end of that scene, and I need to flesh out some of the character interactions. There's also a character I need to add to the scene because she was not in the previous draft, and now she is, and this is, I believe, the first scene that she'll actually be in. So I've got one chapter that needs a decent amount of work, and one chapter that needs almost nothing, so I don't think it will be that difficult to finish both of those chapters along with the rest of Chapter 6. I think that will be fine. Anyway, I am basically done for the day. Obviously, I still need to write my Drabble. I'll do that probably on my phone. And today is actually my anniversary with my husband, so my evening will be spending time with him. Good morning, it is June 4th. I just got out of the shower and got dressed, and I'm about to take my kids to school, and then I'm doing a live stream with Cynthia. So this is probably the only opportunity I really have to check in this morning before I'm literally on a live stream. I wrote my day 3 Drabble when I went to bed last night, wrote it on my phone while laying in bed and listening to music, and then I finally caught up on everyone's Drabbles from the last couple days. I am very happy that I'm actually caught up. If it went on for another day, then it would be hard to catch up, because man, everybody is writing such good Drabbles. I'm so excited. I'm also very excited to be able to have a full day of writing today. I enjoyed my time with my mom yesterday, and I absolutely love being able to put a pause on my workday and do whatever the hell I want. That is the best part of working from home. But I really did not make as much progress as I wanted to yesterday, and I need to make up for that today. The Drabble will get taken care of on the live stream, and then all I have to do the rest of the day is write. I might go to lunch with my husband, but aside from that, a full day of writing. Okay, just a quick update. I finished my live stream with Cynthia not too long ago. That was so much fun. We had such a great time. It's been a bit since we've been able to live stream together, and it was so so nice. We chatted for way too long, and I got in my Drabble, which I've already forgotten what it was about, and I started working on chapter 6 revisions. I'm gonna go to lunch now with my husband, and then I'm going to work more on revisions. Okay, I am back from lunch. That was a bit of a long lunch break. Food took longer than expected, and we ran a couple short errands. Picked up my copy of We Have Always Lived in the Castle so I can read it with people in the Storyteller Society server. I read it sometime last year, so I am excited to reread it and chat with people about it. And now I'm going to dive into revisions. I have 2.5 chapters that I need to get through today, and I'm excited to make some real progress on this. It's almost 5 now. I got through 3 scenes, so that's a chapter and a half. I still have chapter 8 to do. Chapter 8 is only one scene. It's the scene where Billy and Xander and Imogen and Jimmy and Prudence and her new roommate Tamsin and their kind of still friend Cynthia all go out to eat pizza. And this scene needs a lot of work, because Cynthia was not originally in it. This is a character that has not appeared in this book yet. She never had a very big role in the previous books, but she's important enough, especially to Prudence, that it would be weird to suddenly not include her. And she wasn't in the previous draft. And when I reread all of the books, I went, hey, that's weird. That doesn't make sense for her to not be in it. She needs to at least be there sometimes. So I'm adding her to this scene, and I need to change a lot of Imogen's behavior in this scene. It's not exactly how I need it to be. So yeah, this scene needs a lot of work, and I don't have the time to devote to that right now. Stats-wise, I have gotten through 13 out of 100 scenes, so that's about 13% of the way through the book, and I'm at 19,000 words, which means my average words per scene is like 1,450-ish, and if that stays the average with 100 scenes, that's way too long. I don't think it will, because I know that my words per scene and my words per chapter got shorter as it went along in the previous draft. That might change as I make these edits though. I am changing a lot of stuff. If I have the energy for it, I'll come back down and work on this chapter after my kids are in bed, but no promises. I might not have the energy for that at all. We'll see. It's a little after 10, the kids are in bed now, and I am so tired. I've been so tired the last few hours. It's been a busy few days, and I don't know if it is catching up to me. I don't know, my body just decided to be tired. I was up way too late last night, catching up on everybody's drabbles, so that could also be part of it. Oops. I was hoping I would feel up to doing a little bit of writing work, but my brain is just not there. It's not present. So I need to sleep before I can do anything like that. I'm going to go to the gym in the morning, and then I have a couple errands to run, and then the rest of the day will be writing. I have to do my drabble, and because I only got through chapter 7, then tomorrow I need to do chapters 8, 9, and 10. It's 5 scenes total. I have 2 of them marked as major changes and 3 as minor changes. So we'll see how it goes. This is theoretically doable, assuming I actually have the time for it. So I'm going to watch a couple YouTube videos while I get ready for bed. So hopefully I have a little more energy tomorrow, and I can dedicate that energy to making some real writing progress. And with that, it is bedtime. Good morning! It's Friday, June 5th. I went to bed last night. I did a little writing on a short story on my phone, but otherwise I just went to sleep. I'm going to the gym right now, and then I have a couple errands to run, and then I'm going to spend the rest of the day writing. I got my errands run, I got some coffee from Mudhouse, and I'm ready to dive into my drabble. The prompts for today are a bejeweled crown and an unwarranted promotion. So I'm going to spend hopefully just about half an hour to get that written up, and then I can shift gears to work on revisions. I have 3 chapters to revise today, and I really need to get all 3 of them done to stay on target. I'm going to dive into it. Drabble is done. That took me like 15 to 20 minutes. It didn't take too long. I honestly just went with the first idea that popped into my head because I really, really want to get back to revisions. And I'm happy with how it came out, but I do think it's probably a little too on the nose, and I would prefer having done something that plays with the prompts a little more. But for now, I really just want to dive into revisions. I am very excited to get to these chapters, and I really don't want to wait anymore. Okay, I messed with my hair because it was bothering me. This is much better. And I just finally finally finished chapter 8. I don't know what about it was so much trouble, but it was. This was something where I knew I had to do some rewriting and I had to add in some stuff, but I think the issue was I didn't know what exactly I needed to add. I wanted to expand the ending more, but I didn't have any real details other than that. I had other things to tweak, of course, but that part wasn't the difficult part. I am very happy with what I wound up with, though. This turned into such a cute moment at the very end, and I'm so pleased with how that turned out. So that means it's time to move on to chapter 9. The next 3 scenes, the 2 scenes in chapter 9 and the first scene in chapter 10, are all ones that don't have a lot of changes, so hopefully those don't take me all that long. But the final scene in chapter 10 will be a decent amount of work. That is another one that I have labeled as major changes. I also spent a lot of that time uploading video files, so I did not take as much B-roll as I intended, but that's fine. This vlog is going to be way too long anyway. Okay, time for chapter 9. Okay, I made it through the next chapter and a half, through the 3 scenes that don't have a lot of work. The first half of chapter 10, actually, I don't think I changed much of anything. I only took out a couple things. So I wound up changing that to being the no changes instead of minor changes, which means I have 1 scene left to work on today. It is one of the most important scenes, though, in the whole book, because this is the first plot point, or rather, like, this chapter and the next chapter are the first plot point, so this is a very important chapter and a very important scene, and it needs a lot of work. It's about 3:15 right now, so I'm going to get started on this, and I'm hoping, really hoping that I'm able to finish it today. If I don't get through all of it, if I really need a break, then I will take one and hopefully come back down after the kids are in bed to finish it then. I would really like to get through the next chapter as well, to get through the first plot point, but I know that's unrealistic, and it can wait. I am struggling so much with this scene. A few of the changes will be very simple, easy, direct things to change. Like, I had to adjust the seating arrangement because what I'd written hadn't made sense. There's a point later on where Jimmy drops his silverware, and in this draft I have him not pick it up, but in this one I very specifically want him to get down on the floor under the table to pick this up while the other conversation is happening. And there's a point where I want Billy to go out into the backyard, and that doesn't happen in this draft. So, like, those are things I know very specifically what I want to happen. But probably what I need to deal with most is that in the previous draft, when I was writing this scene, I struggled so much with not knowing what sort of conversation for them to have before everything falls apart, that I just skipped over it. I didn't write it. Now I have to write it. This is the worst part about doing drafts. Your past self did not always do their best. Or maybe I did do my best. Maybe I did. Maybe my best was not touching it yet, not figuring out what was going on. So I for sure have one thing I know I want to bring up in this section of stuff that needs to be happening. Also, this is Thanksgiving, which means we're leading up to the end of the semester, and they only have one semester after that. So generally talking about plans for next semester, talking about post-graduation, all of that sort of stuff, totally fair game, especially since Jimmy is there, and Jimmy and Billy's dad have not interacted all that much in the past, year and a half. They certainly haven't been touching base about Jimmy's plans for the future. What her dad knows about it is based on things that Billy would have told her dad, or that Xander would have mentioned, because Xander won't shut up half the time. So that's definitely some stuff I want to touch on. I could talk about everyone's school projects. I could talk about work. This is this weird area where it's this is kind of small talk, but it's also just getting updates on people's lives. None of these people, aside from Xander, know how to do small talk. Billy and her dad, when they have had conversations where they're not really talking about anything, it's the most uncomfortable, awkward experience. Jimmy is also so bad at this. Xander, and to a lesser extent, Imogene, he's the one who is able to weave between conversation topics and, lead the conversation so that it doesn't get awkward or weird, because this is an awkward and weird situation, especially having Jimmy and Imogene both here. Things are difficult between them right now. So I have all this space that I need to fill, but I need to fill it with things that do matter, not just random crap. I need this conversation to be genuine. I need them to touch on a few different things, even if I'm not entirely sure what all those things are. I guess I should probably think about this as they're here in her dad's house. He is, hosting them. If he's wanting to talk to people, what is he going to ask about or want to tell them about? I might need to take a little more time to think about what exactly I want this discussion to include. This is a good opportunity to hint at things that are going to come. It's also a good opportunity to talk about things that have already happened. So is there anything that I've brought up previously that would be good to include here? And I don't need this section to be huge, but it does need to feel natural. It needs to feel genuine. I don't know. I'm gonna do some brainstorming and see if I can work this out. Okay, I read through the previous chapters, skimmed through them really quickly to come up with things to talk about. I have a list of potential stuff. It's just 6 things, and I definitely don't foresee getting to all of them. That would just be fluff. That's not what I'm looking for. I don't want fluff. I want this to feel like an actual conversation. There definitely needs to be some uncomfortable build-up, and then Xander's going to try to steer the conversation away from that towards something that theoretically should be lighter or more fun for him at least. And then that doesn't go well because that conversation is not lighter at all. In fact, it's much heavier. I will say I'm going to stop here. I read through stuff and made some notes so I know what I need to work on the next time I work on this scene. But my brain is tired and I need a break. It is going on 4 o'clock, so that means school is basically over and my time to work on stuff is pretty much done. And I need a break anyway, so I'm not going to complain about that. Assuming I'm feeling up to it, I will be back downstairs to work on this after the kids are in bed. If not, I'm sure I will find some time to work on it over the weekend to try to finish up this scene. But I will say, even if I don't get to it, most of the way through chapter 10 is still pretty good. Revising 2 chapters every day until I finish this is honestly a good plan, and that should take me about 5 weeks since I cannot reliably work on the weekends. I did not get through all of what I wanted to work on in my regular work hours, but this is well within normal and it's totally reasonable to not make it all the way through the last scene. It's just one scene. I'm not behind by a whole bunch. Even if I didn't get to everything I wanted to work on this week, I made phenomenal progress. progress. I've gotten through 17 scenes and over 25,000 words. This is great progress. I will say my words per scene right now is averaging around 1,500, which makes sense, but is also a lot. Anyway, I will check in later. If nothing else, I will be filming an outro to this at some point. I got most of what I wanted to do this week done though, so that's excellent. Okay, I spent the last couple hours relaxing and trying to give my brain some time to calm down. So I'm feeling much better, not, emotionally and mentally taxed the way I was earlier. And I has package. This isn't amazingly exciting or anything. It's just I ordered a couple things from Dropout. More than a couple things, but some of the stuff is here now and some of it will be in the future, because one of the things I got was one of the stupid Mr. Mayonnaise shirts for my husband, and that's a pre-order, so that won't be here for a bit. But I got this. Seasons 1 and 2 of Game Changer on Blu-ray, which I was so excited when they did that. I will be very disappointed if the other ones don't get Blu-ray releases. And then this shirt. This is one of my favorite Brennan quotes. He has so many good ones, but I love this one. So I saw they had it on a shirt and I was like, okay, I might have to do that. I'm a little bit disappointed that the stuff is on the back and not the front, because I'm not, I want the interesting thing to be where I can also see and enjoy it. I don't want it to just be for other people to enjoy. I want it for me, not to be a plug for Dropout, but I love them. Anyway, I am going to go back to movie night. We are watching Despicable Me 3. I didn't pick it. And then I will probably do some writing afterward. I have a cat in a box now. So yeah, I'm gonna go eat some frozen pizza and watch a movie I don't care about. Alright, the kids are in bed. I feel so much more refreshed than I did earlier, and I'm going to see if I can finish this one particular scene. I need to flesh all of it out, but if I can at least get through this opening part, I will be so much happier. Okay, so I just realized a connection that I didn't even think I needed to make. Because Billy's the main character and it's all first person, her perspective, I am so zeroed in on what she is doing for her senior project, her senior seminar. But Xander is, at this point, basically a secondary protagonist. He just doesn't get his own point of view. Adding it in at this point would be weird, and I stand by that. But I don't know anything about business, and that's what he's majoring in, and I'm like having to research what sort of project would he have to do, and how do I incorporate that into the story without it being too much, and probably very wrong, because I'm relying entirely on Google and, internet searches. I don't have to do that with Billy's majors and her honors project, because I did those things. Her stuff is not exactly the same as what I did, but I know what the parameters are. I understand the requirements, the rubric, as much as I can over a decade later. Obviously, I know stuff changes, but also this book is set in 2018. It's set halfway between when I attended and now, so it's fine. It's fine. But I've been struggling to figure out how to incorporate more of what Xander's senior project would be, because Billy has to be at least, vaguely aware of it. It is crazy for her not to be. And I just realized a way that I can connect what his project should be to other things happening in the story, and I'm brilliant. I'm so pleased that I found a way to make this actually work, to make it make sense, to make it fit in. That's the thing, because it's yes, you can have stuff that's not connected to other parts of the story. You can. So many parts of books are like that, but the more interconnected all of the parts are, the harder it is to take it apart. Everything needs to work together to create one big story that is a complete thing, braided together, so that if you start to take out one section, the whole thing unravels. That's how I like my stories. That's how I have these books kind of designed. So it's been bothering me that I did not know enough about what he needed to be doing, what he needed to be focusing on. And I think this is the solution. I really do, especially since it ties into something that happens later on, a location that is only in one scene, and I just found a way to tie that location to everything. This is so smart. Anyway, I have to get back to it. This is great. I'm so happy right now. I'm gonna keep writing this scene and keep being brilliant. Okay, it's a little after midnight now, so that is officially the end of my week. I just finished revising chapter 10, and I am so pleased with how it has turned out and what ideas writing it sparked. So I'm very happy. Overall, this week went quite well. I got done the main things that I knew I needed to do. I worked through chapters 1 through 10 of draft 3. That is huge. If I can keep at the same pace, I will be done with this by July 4th, which is unintentional, but cool, I guess. I also wrote a Drabble every single day. I got that done. Half of those were done on live streams. I'll do my ones for Saturday and Sunday on my Saturday night live stream, so I don't have to worry about doing a Drabble over the weekend because I'll be doing them on the live stream. That's really nice, actually. I went to the Spring Book Buzz, had fun with my friends. I even had a day to hang out out with my mom, which did upset my schedule quite a bit, but that truly is the benefit of working from home and deciding your own schedule. You can take a break if you want, and as someone who is neurodivergent, I often need breaks. A day where I have no one wanting anything from me is essential, at least every once in a while, or I will run into trouble and have meltdowns. I also did a little bit of scene consolidation today, so I didn't get rid of any scenes, I just combined the scenes where it was only a soft break instead of a hard scene break. So now my total is 92 scenes, not 100. But again, this did not change how many scenes I'm writing, it just like smushed some of them together. All of the stuff at the climax, I wound up putting those into one scene group, and I'll still have the soft break. But it is one scene. It is like 3 chapters that are just one continuous scene as we follow Billy from room to room and like interaction to interaction. So I got that a little bit tighter, and that's just to make it flow better. It doesn't actually change any of my writing, but it does change the progress percentage that I have in my spreadsheet. So this week I got through 18 scenes. 18 scenes out of 92 is just shy of 20% of the way through the book, which is almost exactly the same as 10 out of 51 chapters, because that's 19.6 as opposed to 19.57. As far as that, I am perfectly on target. The amount of words that I made it through is 27,891, which is quite a bit. I added almost 4,000 words to this. I added 3,971 words while making my changes, which, considering I added 2 new scenes and added some pretty big chunks to a few different scenes, that makes sense. That is about what I would expect. Overall, I made so much good progress on this draft this week. I'm so happy. I'm already a fifth of the way through it. That seems crazy. It doesn't feel like I should be moving through it that fast, but I'm making so much good progress on it. Not just how far I'm getting through it, but the work that I'm doing, the way these scenes read after I edit them is so much better. They feel so much more fluid. They feel so much more complete, like they're actually telling a story as opposed to being a scene, a lone scene. They flow together, they work together like it's a real story. So since I updated the number of scenes, that means that my stats for the different types of changes is different. So it's 11 new scenes, 19 scenes that have major changes, 52 scenes that have minor changes, and 10 scenes that have little to no changes. I would like to update this so that that changes based on what I've completed, like it removes the ones I've completed, because then it should be like 9 new scenes instead of 11. Because I've written 2 new ones. I will probably tweak my spreadsheet a little bit to see if I can do that. And I'm going to end this here. This was such a fun, I would say experiment, but this genuinely is my life. I love all of the vlogs of people going around, testing out what it would be like to be a full-time author. And I feel kind of weird using that term because I don't make enough money from my writing to live off of it. Most of my money comes from either editing or other random sources. And of course, I have a wonderful spouse who supports me, and I don't always have to make a whole bunch of money. Sometimes I don't, and we survive. We continue to survive because he has a much more reliable income than I do. So it feels weird, it feels disingenuous to use the term full-time writer, but technically that is what I am. And I'm so happy that I'm able to do this full-time, that I am able to pursue my writing and enjoy making this channel, that I have people in my life who genuinely believe in me and support me, even if I'm not making very much money from this yet. Tiny bit, tiny bit. And we're just gonna keep working on it, and eventually, at some point, it will be less of a tiny bit. That's the goal. Slowly increasing it so it is more viable. So thanks for joining me as I start start the next draft of my book and start this Drabble challenge again. It's so much fun. If you haven't been joining me in the live streams, what are you doing? You should hang out in the live streams. We had so much fun the other day. And subscribe for more disaster neurodivergent writing content, because I don't know how to make a video feel cohesive to save my life. And it's fine. This is fine. This is what you get. It's me.